Your presence is not ordinary. The very fact that you exist in this time, in this place, and with the exact heart you carry, is proof that you were destined to alter the course of many lives, generations before you dreamed of freedom, strength and vision generations after. You will live in the blessings of what you carry now. You are the bridge between what was and what will be. Every step you take echoes not only in your own life, but in the lives of those who will come after you. Your presence is not just felt in the moment. It ripples outward, shaking the foundations of patterns that have held families bound for centuries. You are chosen to stand in this hour because your light carries a weight that cannot be ignored, and that is why I invite you to stay with me until the very end of this message. Every word in this video was prepared to meet you where you are, to remind you of the power you hold. I encourage you to write your warmest wishes in the comments and type the code 777 as a symbol of divine alignment, completion, and breakthrough. When you share your wish, you release energy into the universe that does not fade. It multiplies. Your words become seeds. And together we are building a field of destiny where miracles will grow for you and for others connected to this journey. Now understand this. Your presence is about to shift entire generations. Think about it. Families carry stories. Some of those stories are victories, but many are wounds, patterns of struggle, chains of lack, memories of betrayal, or cycles of silence that repeated from one generation to the next. And yet here you are, you feel things deeply. You see what others try to ignore. You sense when something isn't right, even if it has been called normal for decades. That ability inside you is not an accident. It is the signature of someone chosen to break cycles, to rewrite stories, to reset the tone for everyone who comes after. Your life is not just about your personal comfort. It is about the impact of your presence. When you step into a room, things shift. When you speak, even if your voice trembles, truth leaks out. When you choose to walk differently, you show others they do not have to stay chained. This is why you feel resistance so strongly, because the chains that have bound your bloodline for years recognize that you are the one who will not bow to them anymore. They are afraid of your presence. They fear your awakening. They know that if you fully step into who you are, their reign ends forever. You may think to yourself, but who am I? I'm just one person. That is exactly the point. The greatest changes in history never started with crowds. They started with one awakened soul. Your decision to rise, to carry love where there was hate, to bring truth where there was silence, and to create abundance where there was lack. That decision will echo. Children yet to be born will thank you. Strangers you will never meet will benefit from your courage. The path you are clearing will become a highway for others. That is what it means to change generations. So if you feel the weight on your shoulders, if you feel that unseen pressure that sometimes makes you question why life has been so hard for you, let me remind you, it is not punishment. It is preparation. The reason the battle has been fierce is because your victory will not just be yours. It will belong to thousands connected to your name, to your presence, to your bloodline. You are the seed of transformation that heaven planted into your family line. You are the answer to someone's silent prayer, the proof that cycles can break, and the living reminder that destiny always finds its way through. The shift you carry is not just for your family. It reaches further into the culture you live in, into communities that have been waiting for a fresh voice. Think about how history works. When a single person dares to step outside of what is expected, entire societies feel the effect. The people who once walked in silence suddenly realize they have a voice. The ones who thought hope was gone suddenly feel it rising again. That is what your presence does. Even when you do not fully see it, you are influencing your thoughts, your energy, your way of responding. It creates ripple effects that outlive the moment. Every movement begins with presence. It does not always begin with a speech, with money, or with a crowd. It begins with someone simply standing in alignment with who they are meant to be. That presence is powerful because it sends a signal into the atmosphere. The old ways cannot continue. Something new has arrived, and this is where you stand right now. Your presence, your being, your essence has arrived to interrupt the cycle of sameness and call forth a new rhythm for the generations that will walk after you. But here is the truth that many don't recognize. Presence is not about being loud. It is not about always being seen. Presence is about the silent authority that enters. When you are fully aligned with your destiny, it is the unshakable calm in your spirit when everything else is chaotic. It is the way people feel safer, freer, lighter when you are around, even if they don't have words to describe it. Presence carries an atmosphere, and yours is about to sweep through lives like a fresh wind. Generations are changed not just by inventions, not just by systems, but by atmosphere. Think about a child walking into a home filled with peace versus one filled with fear. The air itself carries a legacy, and you, chosen one, are the carrier of a new atmosphere. You are planting peace where there was anxiety. You are sowing clarity where there was confusion. You are opening doors of freedom where there were walls of limitation. That is how your presence will affect generations. Not always in words, but in the unseen shifts you bring into every space. This is why your sensitivity is a gift, not a weakness. The fact that you feel deeply, that you sense when something is heavy or wrong, is evidence that you are tuned into the invisible layers of reality. Most people ignore those layers, but you cannot, because you were chosen to shift them. Every time you refuse to settle for what is fake, every time you walk away from what dishonors your spirit, every time you choose truth, even when it costs you, that is presence reshaping culture. That is destiny bending through your decisions. Do not underestimate the quiet revolutions you have already sparked. Someone watched you leave behind an environment that no longer served you, and they found courage to leave their own. Someone heard you speak your truth softly, and it gave them the boldness to finally say theirs loudly. Someone observed the way you carry yourself with dignity even when disrespected, and it taught them that they too deserve respect. These are seeds, invisible yet undeniable. Seeds that grow into forests of freedom long after you are gone. And here's the mystery. Presence outlives flesh. Long after you move from one place to another, people still feel you long after you have spoken. Your words continue to echo in their minds. Long after your season in one environment has ended, your impact lingers like fragrance in the air. This is why your presence will change entire generations. It is not tied to time or location. It is spiritual, it is energetic. It is eternal. So when you wonder if your life matters, remember this: even in your quietest moments, your presence is doing what it was designed to do, shaping reality. You are not here to entertain. You are not here to fit into the mold. You are here to shift the unseen, to break through the barriers, and to release a vibration of freedom that others will follow. Your presence is a force, a fire, a foundation, and soon generations will know that because you lived. They were set free. When a cycle ends, something new must begin. It is not enough to break the chains. There must be a fresh path laid down for others to walk on. And this chosen one is where your presence becomes even more powerful. You are not only the one who stops the old, story from repeating. You are the one who writes the new story that future generations will live by. Think about it: cycles of poverty, fear, silence, or shame may have dominated the line you were born into, but with you they stop. You have felt the weight of them. You have battled the heaviness of those patterns in your own life, and yet your spirit has refused to bow. That resistance inside of you is the first sign of a new legacy. Because of you, children you may never meet will not have to fight the same battles. Because of you, families will live with freedoms they never imagined possible. Legacy is not just money or property. It is the invisible inheritance of courage, wisdom, and vision. Your presence is building that invisible inheritance. Right now, every time you choose truth over convenience, you deposit courage into the generations that will follow. Every time you honor your own worth, instead of shrinking, you deposit dignity into the future. Every time you forgive when it would have been easier to hate, you deposit healing into the atmosphere. These choices are the unseen bricks of a new foundation. And generations after, you will stand on what you are building. Do you see how important your presence is? Even in your private victories, you are changing history. The fight you win in secret becomes the freedom someone else will enjoy in public. The prayers you whisper at night become the protection that covers your bloodline. The tears you shed in silence become the waters that grow, strengthen those who will come after you. None of it is wasted. None of it is small. Every decision you make now reaches forward into decades you may never live to see. And this is why the enemy fought so hard to silence you. This is why distractions, delays, and disappointments have tried to weigh you down. Because if you ever realized the scale of your influence, you would never doubt again. If you ever saw clearly how much depends on your awakening, you would rise with unstoppable force. And here you are, rising anyway. Every setback has been fuel. Every rejection has been redirection. Every loss has made you stronger. And now all of it is turning into a legacy that cannot be erased. Generations are not changed by those who conform. They are changed by those who dare to stand apart. That is why you have always felt different. Why you have carried a sense of not fully belonging. You were not born to blend in. You were born to plant a new standard. Your presence is writing the blueprint. You are the reference point for those who will come after. When they face challenges, they will look back and remember the one who stood first, the one who broke through, the one who chose a different way. Your legacy is not in what you own. It is in who you are. Your words, your energy, your decisions, your love, these are eternal. These are the treasures generations will inherit. This is the wealth you are building, wealth that cannot be stolen, wealth that multiplies across time. You are leaving behind something more valuable than gold, the proof that transformation is possible, the evidence that freedom is real. So walk with the awareness that you are not just living for yourself. You are planting trees you may never sit under, but others will find shade in them. You are digging wells you may never drink from, but generations will find life there. You are lighting torches you may never hold, but your fire will pass into hands that will carry it further. This is legacy. This is presence shaping eternity. This is why you are chosen. Your presence is not only about the future, it is already stirring lives around you. In this very moment, you may not always see it clearly, but people are watching. They are studying how you carry yourself, how you respond when the weight is heavy, how you remain true when it would be easier to give up. They are drawn to the energy you carry, the silent authority that comes from living in alignment with your calling. You awaken something in them, sometimes without even speaking a word. This is why strangers feel connected to you so quickly. Why people sense peace or strength simply by being in your space. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. Your presence unlocks dormant parts of people, the courage they forgot they had, the dreams they buried, the light they dimmed. Just by walking in truth, you invite others to remember who they are. That is the invisible influence of a chosen one. Communities shift because of people like you. One person standing with integrity changes the atmosphere of a workplace. One person carrying compassion changes the tone of a neighborhood. One person refusing to accept the old way of doing things changes the expectations of everyone around them. You are that person. You are the one whose quiet decisions are reshaping entire environments. Others may not say it, but they feel safer, freer, more alive when you are near. The ripple effect of your presence cannot be measured. A single word of encouragement you spoke years ago may still be carrying someone through today. A single act of kindness you thought was small may have changed the direction of someone's life. Even your silence, even your refusal to participate in negativity, has shifted the energy of entire rooms. That is the scale of your impact, and it is only growing stronger. Do you see how powerful it is just to be aligned with your purpose? You do not have to force influence. It flows naturally. Your authenticity radiates like light, and those in darkness cannot help but notice. Some will resist it because your presence makes them face what they have been avoiding. But even that resistance is proof of your power. You awaken what is hidden, and not everyone is ready for that awakening yet. In time, even those who resist will remember the seed you planted in their spirit. And this is important. Your presence is not limited to proximity. Even from a distance, you shift lives. The words you release travel further than you imagine. The energy you pour out reaches people you will never meet. Technology conversations, even memories carry fragments of your presence. Someone across the world may be impacted by something you said once, something you wrote once, something you embodied once. This is why your presence is not bound by time or space. It is a force that transcends both. You may think you are just living your life, but you are carrying a light that generations have been waiting for. Others sense it even if they cannot name it. Some will call you inspiring. Some will call you different. Some will simply feel drawn to you without understanding why. But the truth is this: your presence carries destiny. And destiny is magnetic. It pulls others toward their own awakening. So never doubt the effect you are having right now. Every conversation, every gesture, every decision radiates outward like waves on water. You are shaping minds, stirring hearts, and planting courage in ways you will never fully see. And long after today, long after this season of your life has passed, people will still carry the imprint of your presence. That is the power you hold. That is how entire generations begin to shift, one awakened life touching another, until the ripple becomes a tide. Every story has a culmination, and every destiny has a point where the hidden work becomes undeniable. You are standing at that threshold now. For years, much of what you carried remained unseen, unfolding in private battles, silent victories, and hidden acts of faith. But the time is approaching when the world will see with their own eyes what has been forming in you all along. Your presence is stepping into full visibility, and with it, entire generations will step into a new reality. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. For months it seems invisible, as though nothing is happening. But under the surface, roots are spreading wide. Foundation is being secured, and strength is being built for what is coming. Then suddenly, almost overnight, the soil breaks and new life pushes upward. That is where you are now. Your years of unseen growth are breaking through the surface. The roots you planted in silence are about to bear fruit for many. This fruit will not just feed you, it will feed nations. It will not just cover your family, it will ripple outward to strangers you will never meet. The courage you lived in private will be the courage that holds others steady in their storms. The hope you kept alive when everything seemed lost will be the hope that pulls others out of despair. Your presence is not just personal. It is generational, it is legacy in motion. And it is becoming too strong to be ignored. Do not be surprised when doors open quickly, when influence multiplies suddenly, when opportunities arrive in ways you could not have orchestrated. This is not chance. It is alignment. The universe, the creator, the very fabric of destiny, has been waiting for this moment. And because you endured the dark seasons, because you did not abandon the process, you are stepping into the season where your presence cannot be hidden. You are the answer to cries spoken long before you were born. And yet remember, this presence is not about fame. It is not about applause, it is about impact. Fame is temporary, but impact is eternal. Applause fades, but legacy echoes through generations. You were not chosen to be popular. You were chosen to be significant. And significance cannot be measured in likes, followers, or numbers. It is measured in the lives shifted, the burdens lifted, the paths cleared, the freedom released. That is the true power of your presence. This is why you must continue walking in authenticity. Do not trade your truth for acceptance. Do not dilute your fire to make others comfortable. Do not shrink your presence to fit the small expectations of those who cannot see the vision. You carry too much, you hold too much, and you are destined for too much to ever settle. Your presence was designed to disrupt, to rebuild, to restore. If it makes others uncomfortable, let it. If it sets you apart, embrace it, for it is in your uniqueness that your power shines most brightly. Soon people will look back and say, because you stood. We learned to stand because you believed. We learned to believe because you endured. We found the courage to endure. That is the testimony of presence. That is the mark of a generational shift. Your life will become the evidence that one awakened soul can set entire bloodlines free. That one unshaken spirit can rewrite the story of many. So hold steady, chosen one. The weight you feel is not a burden. It is the mantle of generations resting on you. The fire in your spirit is not random. It is the fuel that will light torches for centuries. The urgency in your heart is not pressure. It is purpose calling you forward. Everything in your journey has been preparing you for this. The moment where your presence becomes the doorway through which entire generations walk into freedom. Chosen one, this is your moment. Everything you've endured, everything you've survived has not been in vain. Your presence is not just a passing influence. It is a fire that will continue to burn through time. You are the bridge between what was and what will be, the turning point in your lineage, the proof that cycles can end and new legacies can begin. Walk boldly now, for your very existence is an answer to generations of silent prayers. Stand tall because your presence carries freedom, light, and transformation that will ripple through countless lives. Never forget because you were chosen. Generations will rise because you stood. They will stand because you lived. They will truly live